What's going on, guys? CTG Matt back. You read the title. Today we are ranking teams based on how badly I think they need to make a move. Mid-season mark is about to come. We're over the 35. We're about 35 games in, close to it. 32 for some teams, 31 for others. You know what you need. You know what the roster looks like. 30 games in, unless your best player hasn't played like some teams here, you know that your team either needs to make a move or just in general they can hold the line, or they're selling and tanking anyways. Let me draw your attention over here to the tiers. We are looking at you should be selling. It's pretty straightforward. You should not be looking to trade for anyone. You should be looking to trade people. Then we're looking at hold the line. That means, hey man, I think they'll be all right. Just relax. Then you got depth pieces, teams that maybe are a little top heavy that could use a little, maybe a bench punch, or like sometimes like a backup wing can be the difference between a first round out and a conference finals team. And then you have needed to get over the top. They need a piece to get over the top to be like real contenders. And then they need help bad. This is a team that should be good, isn't really playing well. And it very much appears as though they're going to need to make a move for something or somebody. There needs to be additional changes and additions to the roster. You like the helmet in the background? If you don't, you must be a Falcons fan. They lost yesterday on Sunday Night Football, and that made me happy. So happy that I had to hang this up above my head. But we're talking basketball today. We're talking Atlanta Hawks, not Atlanta Falcons. The Hawks a tough one, man. I think they're kind of in hold the line. They're playing decent ball. Trae Young, while still struggling to find a shooting form, is still the best playmaker maybe in the league, in my opinion. I'd say he's probably the best assist man in basketball right now. He's leading the league in assists. On top of that, DeAndre Hunter, a breakout, man. If you asked me 2 years ago what my opinion on DeAndre Hunter was, it would not be this good. I'm just being honest. If you asked me 2 years ago about DeAndre Hunter and his future with the Hawks, that is, I'm not sure I would tell you he'd be a Hawk. But now with the way that he's playing off the bench, my God, they have a really sick team now that DeAndre Hunter's back and he's hooping off the bench. Combine that with Dyson, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka off the bench. Kobe Buffkin was having a good year too until he got hurt. But yeah, I think they can just hold the line here. I don't think the expectation was very high for Atlanta. So where they're at right now, honestly, they should be kind of happy with it. And it looks like this is just a development year, essentially. And they could still end up making the playoffs because the East is weak as hell. And I'm kind of rooting for them. They're a fun team to watch. I really like Atlanta, but I don't think they need to make a trade. It's not pressing. Boston Celtics, I don't think it's possible for them to make a trade. The cap, the cap rules are so terrible in the NBA nowadays, and people like it because of parity, but I don't know. I look at a team like Boston, and I see a team that probably needs to make a move. I'm not panicked. I'm not like saying the sky is falling, but they are 5-5 in their last 10, I believe. That's not good. That's not good enough for a team that blazed through the league and destroyed everybody last season. So, in my opinion, they just need more depth. You don't have Drew Holiday. You haven't had Porzingis. Porzingis doesn't play consistently. It's just the truth. And then Drew Holiday has been hurt. Jason Tatum's missed a couple of games here and there. But what we've realized is that the depth pieces ain't cooking. Peyton Pritchard's having a decent season, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't appear to be the solution when things are going awry or bad. Peyton Pritchard isn't like the savior, and then off the bench, Sam Hauser is terrible. I'm just going to come around and say it. I don't care what his three-point percentage is. He has become a net negative. He has been terrible. And Scal was talking about it on broadcast the other day. Drew Carter, that is the home announcer for the Celtics, and he mentioned that Sam Hauser's been dealing with back injuries and stuff like that, and maybe that's been bothering him. And Scal goes, yeah, but if he goes out next game and he drops 25, you wouldn't be talking about through the back issues. You'd completely forget they existed. But when a player's struggling, you start bringing up the back issues, and he was injured, and maybe it was that. At the end of the day, you just have to ride with what you got. If you're the Boston Celtics, because they're over the cap and this luxury tax shit it's not it. These aprons are not it, and we all know it. But, yeah, I think that there needs to be more depth. That backup big spot, Cornette, Keita. I thought Tillman was going to be good. I don't know why Tillman isn't playing. Joe Mazzulla's rotations make no sense because if I'm being honest, if I was coaching this team, Sam Hauser would not be playing over Drew Peterson right now. I'm not the biggest Drew Peterson guy in the world, but he looked way better than Sam Hauser in the minutes he got. All in all, I just think Boston could use more depth pieces, but it's not coming because the aprons. They'd have to trade like Drew Holiday or Derek White, and I don't know if they're committed to do that, but if Brad Stevens can muster up something, I don't even know how. Like Lonnie Walker, there was interest in again for them to bring him back, but the issue is like How? The aprons and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter. I'll move on to Brooklyn Nets. You should be selling. They already kind of have started it, and it's become, every other day there's a new report out about what they want for Cam Johnson. And overall, I think that's a guy that can get you a first-round pick. Cam Johnson really has been balling. That game against the Bucks, Bobby Portis is a bit of an idiot for not switching on that screen or not doing anything on the screen. But Cam Johnson is a very valuable piece for any team that wants to win now. This is a guy who can knock down threes from anywhere. He comes off screens and hits them. Left, going right. He's so talented. I love Cam Johnson. I think he can ball. They already started moving. Like I said, they moved Dennis Schroeder. They've won more games than the Warriors have since they traded Dennis Schroeder. I think that's actually a lie. I think it's 2-2 now. But that youth movement's starting to take over. Noah Clowney got ejected out of their last game, I believe. That's hilarious. I don't really care, to be honest. And then, the other young guys, Jalen Wilson's getting PT, they're just selling, and they're moving on. Cam Thomas had a pretty good game the other day, too. Shake Milton just got moved, I think it was. It's different. But I like what the Nets got cooking. And, this tank job should be generational coming down the stretch. We're moving on to Hornets. Speaking of tank jobs, you're honestly, I don't even know what they can do. I'm going to put them in hold the line, actually, because there's not much they really can trade. I don't know what pieces they're going to move. Like, Grant Williams is hurt. Josh Green is there. I like Josh Green. Then you look at their big man spot, and it's not healthy or special. It's just, what are you going to do? There's nothing they can do. They're Charlotte. They're tanking. There's not many pieces they can move for extra picks. Unless somebody really wants Taj Gibson like that. Which, I don't know, man. In God's year 2025, we're about to be in. No more Taj Gibson in basketball. Speaking of Taj Gibson, we're going to talk about one of his past teams, the Chicago Bulls. You should be selling. The more wins they get, the more I worry that they're going to look at this team, Arturis and whoever else is making roster decisions over there, and they're going to be like, you know what? We're good enough to make the playoffs here out in the East. That would be worst case scenario for the Bulls. You don't want to do that, because if you make the playoffs as an 8 seed, I think they're in the play-in right now, actually. Yeah, they're the 9 seed. They're in the play-in. If they make the play-in, you've lost this season. You've lost the season. I'm sorry. You should be looking into cashing in while the chips are still valuable. You have Vucevic out there who's balling his ass off and been playing some of the best basketball, maybe the best basketball he's ever played in Chicago, and they haven't moved him yet. They also have Zach LaVine, who's been in trade talks for 3 years now, hasn't ever been moved. Lonzo Ball's in trade talks. They're in a lot of trade talks, but you need to make a trade. You can't just talk about it. Yeah, you can't just talk about it, because the more you talk about it and the less action you do, you're just going to be floating in mediocrity. And that's worse than being a terrible team. I'd rather be in a position of Charlotte or Brooklyn right now than I would be in Chicago. And that's scary to say. And that's only because I really just fear that the Bulls, Reinsdorf, Karnisovas are just going to be chilling at midseason. And that's just a wasted season. Shout out Ayo Dosunmu. I love his effort. Even when he can't make a jump shot, that guy is playing his ass off, and I appreciate that. Cleveland Cavaliers, hold the line. You're fine. There's moves that they can do. People floated out Cam Johnson ideas, which would be really good for them. Don't get me wrong. That would be such an upgrade. But if you don't land Cam Johnson, you're still, I think you're like 9-1 in your last 10, maybe 8-2. It's pretty good. They're on a 6-game win streak right now. You don't need anything. You can add Cam Johnson. That'd be really good for shot creating. And on top of that, he's a little bit bigger. He's got more size than like a Strus or an Okoro. But it's not pressing. Your team's really good without them. So I don't see why you don't need to, is basically what I'm saying. It'd be more of a comfortable thing. I could put depth pieces. The more I think about it, I could put depth pieces. I don't know if they really need them, though. Like, you have your backup point guard that's set, that's Ty Jerome. You have your backcourt behind, because if you start Okoro, Dean Wade, you still have, like, Strus and who's the other one they got? I don't remember who I'm talking about. But either way, shout out Dean Wade, too. And then your big man spot, you can just switch bigs. You don't even need a backup because there's, when Allen goes out, Mobley can run the 5, or when Mobley goes out, Allen can run, you know what I mean? So you don't really need it. You could, but if they hold the line at midseason, you'll still be fine, dude. Dallas Mavericks is a hard one. I could put depth pieces. I could put hold the line. I think I'm actually just going to put hold the line. Luka's out for a month. Maybe that means depth pieces because Luka's out. But they played really well without Luka last time he was out. So what now? What do comment down below, Dallas fans, because this is a team that I thought could make the finals again, and they still have a very good chance. But without Luka, I don't know if that team's going to hold up for a month. They held up for like 8 games or whatever it was back at the start of the season, but now it's different. Teams are more engaged, and I have no idea. It really depends on how this month without Luka goes, but even then, you don't have a month till the trade deadline, I don't think. So I really don't know. This is a team that could add pieces, but if they don't, Kyrie and Najee Marshall and PJ Washington and them boys got you wins earlier. I don't know. Comment down below, Mavs fans. What do you want to see your team do? Denver Nuggets needed to get over the top. I don't know what the move is. They need something to get over the top. They're still like 4 or 5 games over 500, somewhere around there at the time of recording, and that's pretty good. It's pretty good, don't get me wrong. But we all know what the story of the Nuggets is. Michael Malone himself has said it. What do you do when Jokic goes to the bench? We pray. I think that the one more piece could also help because, I think Aaron Gordon's still out. But Russ has been really good off the bench, and Jamal Murray has slowly started to come around and put it together again. It's starting, but also when you put together 20 straight games of being pretty ass, you need to have more than 6 in a row of being good for me to be like, all right, he's back. You need to tie together 10, 15 of those games just for me to really start looking at it different. Of course, if you don't value my opinion, fair enough. But for Denver, I really just think they need one more, and I don't know what that one more is. They've never had a backup 5 during the Jokic era, and that's like one of the worst. I don't know how to describe it. That's like a bad situation to be in because you're relying on DeAndre Jordan minutes. And then before that, it was Dario minutes, which was kind of gross as well. I mean, you look at the on-off numbers. We're looking at cleaning the glass right now. Jokic is a freaking myth, man. I don't know what to do about this guy. Points per possession goes up 30 with him on the court. Am I reading that shit right? That's disgustingly crazy. But DeAndre Jordan, Dario Saric, these are your 2 backup 5 men. Hunter Tyson, man, I liked Hunter Tyson coming out of college. I thought he'd be a little bit better than this. But Denver just needs more depth, but I don't think that's coming either because it seems clear that Michael Malone and the front office, Calvin Booth, are not on the same page, Detroit Pistons, get more depth pieces. Why not? You already have a solid-ish team. They're not great. Depends, actually. You know what? Do they want the pick? Are we going to see some bad tanking down the stretch from the Pistons here? JB Bickerstaff isn't the type to let that thing ride, though, right? JB Bickerstaff isn't the coach to be like, yeah, I don't care if we lose 10 in a row real quick. He just isn't. So I think they should go look for some depth. Kenny, king of the fourth quarter, said it on a video the other day that all they really need for Cade is a secondary star. Every star needs a secondary piece. That's not like an opinion. That is a fact. Nobody has ever won without a number 2, So Detroit needs a number 2. So do they tank? Do they want Ace Bailey that bad? I don't know. Do you want the AJ DeBance, the kid or whatever his name is, next year? I don't know. But I think they should just get depth pieces and make it a fun little playoff team. You can give Cade a little taste of the playoffs playing. He needs to see meaningful games eventually, right? Warriors. Where do I put the Warriors here? Do they need help more than the Nuggets? I think they're almost in the same spot. They added Dennis Schroeder, who's done some things to help. Like, he hasn't been his best self. And on top of that, it's such a weird team, and they need to be hot to win games. They got a weird team, man. Like, I really like Kyle Anderson, but he's been horrible offensively, but he's been really good defensively. Makes damn near no sense. The defense is like six points better with Kyle Anderson on the floor versus off, but the offense is so bad. It's like, does it even make up for it? I don't know. And the Warriors altogether, just Moses Moody is out of the rotation. Trace Jackson Davis isn't like the best 5-man you could ask for. The whole team is weird. Buddy Hield is bad now, basically. They went through the Buddy Hield experience. I said early in the season, I said surely this Buddy Hield charade will die eventually. And it has. It crashed really bad, right? So Draymond Green was crashing out, screaming at him the other night. I don't blame him. Lock in on defense, buddy. You want to play? You want to be on a contending team? You got to be more than just a one-side player. You can't be a one-side player on a championship team. Whether it's just offense or just defense, you have to be able to contribute on both ends. AirPods has been bad. Do you trade AirPods? I don't know, man, because even early in the season when he was struggling, I said I wouldn't really move him. But again, this 2-timeline BS is starting to get so old. I hate talking about the Warriors because it's literally just been this 2-timeline nonsense the whole time. Do we want Kuminga, Moody, Pods, Jordan Poole when he was there to play, or do we want to get immediate help pieces for Steph Curry? I don't know. Houston Rockets. This might be controversial, but I think they need help pretty bad. I think this is a team that could be a real contender, but as of right now, even though they're a top 3 seed in the West, I don't really see them as like a contender. I don't. They're great defensively, but their scoring is so sporadic. And it's like, it's good that you don't know where the scoring is going to come from, but it's also bad because when Freddie and Jalen Green are hot, cold scorers, and we know that now. Jalen Green has been a hot, cold scorer his whole career. It's either he's going to give you 40 or he might give you 4. It's very like Charlotte Malik Monk almost. He's either going to give you 40 or 4, right? So Freddie is also an inconsistent offensive player. He takes ridiculous shots sometimes. And Alperen Şengün is pretty good, but he's not going to win you a game by himself. He's not. I'm sorry, Rockets fans, but Alperen is not one of those guys. He's not one of those guys that can win you a playoff series basically by himself. He's going to need a co-star. So they need help. Again, this is a team where it's like, do they think of picking up like a Zach LaVine? I don't think I hate that, weirdly enough. They have the young pieces to make it work. I'm not saying if you're trading for Zach LaVine, relax. You're not trading a men, and you're probably not trading Tari. Maybe Jabari. Do the Bulls want Jabari Smith? Do the Rockets want to get rid of Jabari Smith? I like Jabari Smith a lot, but I've seen in some Rockets like corners they do not like him. I'm not saying that's all fans, obviously that's not how that works, but I have seen, like I said, a corner of Rockets fans who really just doesn't like Jabari Smith Jr. I don't get that one. But overall, I just think they need somebody who's a more consistent, feared scorer who's like just consistently there. And I don't know where it's going to come from in the playoffs or a playoff series where these buckets are going to come from. Sure, they can 100% hold a team to sub 100 for 4 games, 5 games. The issue is when they're holding you sub 90, where do we go? Indiana, another weird one. They are weak as hell. They beat the Celtics, and I don't know what to say. You need something. Again, I don't know what it is, though, because I love Tyrese Halliburton. I think he's a really talented player. But your go-to guy for a bucket's Pascal. And after that, it's not Nesmith. Mathurin. While those two are pretty good scorers, they aren't, like, on that level. I really like Pascal's game, but he is not on that level of score. I think they just need more help, and I don't know what it really is for them. Maybe they're a Cam Johnson suitor. I don't know. Maybe they are, to be honest, because they do need more wing depth. They have a lot of guards. Ben Shepherd, TJ McConnell, Nembhard, Halliburton. They have that. They have bigs. They have Miles Turner. They have Jarris Walker. They have Thomas Bryant has been playing with heart, hustle, and energy these last few games. Even when they were down like 40 to the Celtics, Big Dog was hustling. Love to see that. But their wings are a little bit questionable, I guess you could say. Like, it's Nembhard and not Nembhard. Mathurin and Nesmith when he gets healthy. I don't think he's not healthy right now. And it's shallow. Like, they had, what's his name? Not Quentin Jackson. Might have been Quentin Jackson playing the other day. And I don't know. I think they just need more wing depth, maybe. Clippers. Hold the line. They're going to hold the line. This is the reality, is that they're going to hold the line. They're going to rely on Kawhi Leonard to get back and be that guy. I don't hate it because I really like Kawhi Leonard, and I think he's one of the premier players in basketball. But you are relying on a guy who doesn't play consistently at all and never really has. So you're banking your entire season on whether Kawhi Leonard will be playing games or not. And when you live by Kawhi and you die by Kawhi, it's quite a hell to be in. But I kind of have to give shout-outs while they're in this spot. The fact that they are staying afloat. Harden, Chris Dunn, Amir Coffey, Zubats. I love Zubats. That's my guy, man. Norm Powell, that's another guy. I mean, they have so many guys on their team that could really help a real contender. The issue is that they need to keep packing out the Intuit Dome, whatever it's called, their new arena. They want to keep packing it out, and ideally they blow it up in mid-season. But also, if you blow it up at midseason, your ticket sales go like this. So be prepared for 500 ball. Lakers, they got their depth piece, Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton. That's a trade. I don't know. The LeBron tax is going to take DFS from a solid shooter to one of the worst in basketball. That's the LeBron tax, buddy. You join a LeBron-led team, you could shoot 40% from three for your career, but you join LeBron James, you shoot 32. I don't make the rules, that's just how they are. Yeah, I definitely don't hate the Lakers moving for DFS and Shake Milton. I think Shake Milton could be a good bench piece, but I think the biggest piece of that trade was getting rid of D'Angelo Russell. With all due respect, he did not fit that team. Nothing about it made any sense, and now you can kind of wash your hands of it and hope DFS is a real basketball player. Memphis, hold the line, bro. Why not? They're pretty good. You're banking on Ja Morant health to keep you in the game. He went to the locker room. I think he came back later. I don't think it's that serious. And then like Jaren's good, but they're deep. Taylor Jenkins knows how to. Dude, Taylor Jenkins, he's a Coach of the Year candidate, even though nobody's going to talk about it. Jamal Mosley probably deserves it more than anyone, but Taylor Jenkins should be up there too. This guy can get the most out of a freaking brick on a basketball court. You could hand him a piece of plywood, and he would somehow turn it into a freaking all-star. Taylor Jenkins is a hell of a coach. You know, I see what he's done to Scottie Pippen, Jay Huff, half their bench, Jalen Wells. Who were these people coming into the season? I have no clue. I knew who Jay Huff was. I knew who Scottie Pippen Jr. was. I didn't think they'd be this good. And then on top of that, now they're looking to move Conchar and Kennard. I thought Kennard was good as like a backup point guard, shooting guard, kind of. He plays backup one now. He's had like 8 assists the other day in the big blowout game. I like what the Grizzlies got going, and I keep saying it. I doubted you at the beginning of the year. I am sorry, Taylor Jenkins, and I'm sorry, Grizzlies fans. I really did doubt your team, and I was wrong. Miami, kill it. Stop this nonsense, dude. I get angry at this team. Stop the nonsense. Buy or sell. You are so 500, it is impossible right now. They did just pull off a sick upset against Houston, in my opinion, which is great. But what did it gain you? A game in the standings that you're probably just going to drop when you face Charlotte or something stupid? This team doesn't make any sense. Bam's regressing. Tyler Hero is sick. Tyler Hero can't do it all, though. And Jimmy Butler's not playing. Pat Riley didn't want to give an extension to Jimmy Butler because Jimmy Butler didn't play enough. And now he's saying we're not going to trade Jimmy. It sounds like he wants to get an extension done. Jimmy Butler's still not playing. It's not like Pat Riley coming out and saying we want to pay somebody who's playing every day help, because Jimmy's still not playing every day. He turned his ankle. Now he's got a stomach virus. Blah, 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 blah. Kill this team with fire. All right? They're a damn cockroach right now. They crawl around on the floor. Disgusting to watch. Burn it with fire. You see what I did there? The Miami Heat, burn it with fire. Pat Riley, do something or get out of the way. All right, stop with this nonsense of dancing on the fence, never making a move because you have such good relationships with these guys. You have to separate the business from the person. I know it's harder to say than do, but at the end of the day, if your team is sitting in constant mediocrity and 500 records, you have to do something. Milwaukee, depth pieces. When Giannis and Dame were out, they looked horrible, and Middleton's really not into form yet, at least from what I've seen. Brook Lopez is still quality. Bobby Portis is hit or miss, very hit or miss. You're either going to get a really good Bobby game or him fouling a three-point shooter down 3. It's one of the two. Well, he didn't foul the three-point shooter. He just caused the three-pointer to be open. You know, different conversation. But I think that they just need more depth. Ryan Rollins, what are we doing? You know, the backups they got, I look at and I'm like, I don't like it. AJ Green, Derry Bird, that's my guy. Shout out to him. But they could use a couple more Derry Birds, or at least a backup 5 man. Because BP is like a backup 4 or 5. He can play 5. I don't know. I don't trust BP that much. And I know there's a section of Bucks fans that loves or hates BP. I love that fandom because it's so split down the middle with Bobby Portis. Either you love him or you freaking hate him. Minnesota. There's nothing they can do. They're trapped. This is what trapped in mid feels like. They are in mud, mid, mediocrity. 3 M's. It is not pretty. I love Rudy Gobert. I always have, always will. Defense, it wins championships. But the team sucks. You know, it's boring to watch. It's not fun. They were fun in the first half of that Mavericks game on Christmas. That was about it. And they don't play the fun player, Rob Dillingham. You find a way to bring up Rob Dillingham in every video. I do, because I think he's real good. I mean, Jesus Christ. They went to, who the hell was White Boy on their bench the other day that subbed in? Minot. He subbed in before Rob Dillingham? Give me a break, Finch. Give me a break. This team is slapped in mediocrity in the mud. And I don't think there's really anything they can do to save it. But if you wanted to see my reaction to the trade, go watch my Karl-Anthony Towns trade to the Knicks reaction. I said the Knicks fleeced them because Spaghetti Kevin Huerter ain't saving the season. I've lost a lot of money this season on Spaghetti Kevin Huerter, and I can't stand it. Pelicans, kill it. Another team, just like Miami, burn it with fire. Everyone on their team is available, apparently, besides Herb and Trey. I think it was Herb and Trey. I like that. I like Herb and I like Trey, but those are the two pieces that I wanted most on my team, and I think most fans would want. I want Herb and Trey more than I want Brandon Ingram. I want Herb and Trey more than I want Zion at this point, right? So you got to burn it down. Kill this team with fire. Yves Missi. Hey, man, he's pretty good, huh? So that was a fun pick. And then on top of that, like, the whole team's dead and hurt. What can they even do? Started yawning at the end of that. That's how boring the Pelicans games are. They put my ass to sleep just talking about them. New York Knicks. Hold the line, man. I keep saying it. Once Mitchell Robinson gets back, this team will be damn near perfect. Because Mitch, I almost called him Rich Paul. No, Mitchell Robinson is like the rim protector they need. They can play Cat at the 4. It makes them more versatile. They don't even have to play Cat as many minutes. It gives them some type of depth where Jericho Sims is boom or bust as well. So it just gives them more depth pieces when Mitchell Robinson gets back. But at the end of the day, they're fine with where they are right now. And like I said, I'm not saying Mitch is the fix-all and the end-all be-all. He's not. But, man, it would get them close to just about where they need to be. I've been pounding the table for Ariel Huckporty. That ain't coming. So hopefully Mitch can come back and patch up the things that they need to, specifically on the defensive end. OKC. I think they need depth pieces, specifically shooting depth pieces. They're another Cam Johnson team. How many times have I said that about Cam Johnson? This could be the team he ends up with. This could be the team he ends up with. OKC could really be that. They have all the young pieces required and about 1 million picks. So they can throw picks at their problems. They can throw picks at their problems is exactly what it is. I ran right past that one. Yeah. Any problem that they have in their roster construction, throw some picks at it. Guess what? We don't have enough length on the wing position. They really don't. Caruso starting at the 3. It's not a big team. Cam Johnson, hey, we could throw you 2 second-round picks, 3 second-round picks, 2 first, 1 heavily protected, obviously. But I just think that they need a little bit more length. Lou Dort's pretty decent, but I don't know. I just think more length could do it, and more shooting, consistent shooting. Lou Dort's got his percentages up, but I don't really trust Lou Dort that much. And then, like, Cason Wallace can't shoot, so that doesn't help either. So, just maybe a little bit more length and shooting. Orlando, just hold the line. Just hold the line. If you are still keeping your head above water with Jalen Suggs, ate some lentils before I started recording. I hate lentils, by the way, but I ate them anyways. I hate lentils. Gross. Soup isn't a meal. All right, Orlando Magic, just hold the line, bro. You're fine. You're winning games without your 2 best players. And Wendell Carter's missed time, and Jalen Suggs even missed some time, and now Cole Anthony's really good. What the hell is his name? Trevlin freaking Queen, bro? Trevlin Queen? Yeah. Trevlin freaking Queen. Killed my Boston Celtics last time we faced them. In Orlando, so obviously they puff their chest out when they're in Orlando. That's when the Magic are at their best. But Trevlin freaking Queen banked in a 3. I think he banked in 2. That's a different level of frustration. When a motherfucker like Trevlin Queen is banking in deep 3s, it really gets under your skin. But the Magic are a team that lives to get under your skin. Philadelphia, I think they need something. Paul George is awful. Like, he has been terrible this season. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. I could be like, yeah, he's been better before. He's struggling right now. He, from start to finish of this season, from the day he came in, I know he was injured to start, to the day right now, Paul George hasn't had many good games. And you're at the point where it's like, Joel's going to get hurt again. I hate to be that guy. I don't like saying that out loud. Obviously, I would rather watch Joel Embiid play. Who's calling? But I just know Joel Embiid's probably going to miss more time at some point. And Caleb Martin hit 7 threes against the Celtics. I don't know how replicable that is. I don't know how many more times you're going to get that good of a shooting game out of him. So I'm not willing to put all my eggs in the basket of Joel Embiid, and you need a more consistent third guy, because Paul George is essentially Tobias Harris right now. That's just what he is. He play makes a little better, but he shoots worse. So take with that what you must. I don't know what to even say about Philly, because you just know. I don't like putting the bad aura, the bad juju, whatever you want to call it out there, but Joel Embiid is going to miss more time, and you just need more. All right, Phoenix Suns. Oh my God, I can't stand watching this team. The offense has fallen into the same as last year, it feels like. This offense is very do his ass heavy, just like last year. Just like what killed them last year was ISO ball 24/7, and it's still like that. And the thing that makes them even more frustrating to watch is that they're very reliant on Jusuf Nurkic, staking your team's win-loss record on whether Jusuf Nurkic can give you productive minutes tonight. That's not a good spot to be in. It's not. Jusuf Nurkic is not that good to be able to be the one to dictate whether you win or lose on any given night. And he controls your defense. Josh Okogie's pretty good, but Jusuf Nurkic holds damn near the keys to if you win or lose a game. Devin Booker isn't there right now. They look bad with or without. And when KD's out and Booker's there, they look even worse. With Book, no KD, that team is beyond horrible. With KD, without Book, they're just slightly less bad. I'm done with the Suns. I think I'm done with them. They need to move bad, but I don't think that's another team where it's like, I don't think it's coming, bro. Is Bradley Beal going to waive his NTC? Probably not. Portland, hey man, they're becoming competitive. Thumbs up, you're competitive again. Don't know how long Chauncey Billups is going to be around for. He's been a coach there for a couple of years now, which is weird to think about. But Scoot hit a game winner. That's cool. I got nothing else to say about them. There's a couple pieces they can move, but does anyone want dominating? No, they don't. Oh, God, Sacramento. I didn't talk about Mike Brown. So, should I talk about Mike Brown? You know what? I'm going to throw a couple of things in there. Throw my head in my hat in there. I don't hate Mike Brown. I liked Mike Brown a lot. Did he make coaching decisions that were bad? Yes. Keon Ellis should be playing. Kevin Huerter should not be playing. DeMar DeRozan should have come off the bench. They just broke that today on FanDuel TV or whatever the hell it's called. DeMar should have been coming off the bench. The team is very poorly built. But his main issue as a coach was Keon Ellis should have been playing. Kevin Huerter should not have been playing. And then Keegan Murray is just unfixable right now. There's things that are out of his control that are happening to them. Things that are out of his control include DeMar DeRozan getting signed. I doubt he had his hand in that. I doubt he did. It seemed like a rushed move. I tried to give them benefit of the doubt, but I can't do it anymore. It's a bad team. Other things that are out of his control. The regression of Kevin Huerter into nothing. He has shriveled into nothing. Kevin Huerter is not valuable at all. And then on top of that, you have other factors in, like De'Aaron Fox not putting in any defensive effort. But there's a lot of things wrong with this team. And Mike Brown can't fix them all. Mike Brown isn't the fix, but he's also not the problem either. So is Doug Christie the fix? I don't think so. I think their ceiling at best is mediocrity. A first round out, maybe a second round out at best. This team isn't good enough to do anything. And in a Western Conference where everyone's gunning for a championship, you're gunning for a second round appearance. That's mediocrity. That's not good enough. They should have never added DeMar DeRozan, but I don't know. I tried to give them benefit of the doubt before the season and say things like, you know what? I trust that Mike Brown can put it together. Mike Brown can't put it together, and now he's gone all together. Whether it was beef with De'Aaron Fox or not, do the Kings want to trade De'Aaron Fox? I think they probably should. Get ahead of it before you lose it all together. But nothing can be fixed if the head of the snake is still the same thing. And Vivek Ranadive, is that his name? I think that's Vivek Ranadive. Yeah, I was right. It is Vivek Ranadive. When the head of the snake is what's wrong with the team and you can't get rid of the head of the snake, there's nothing that's going to change. Nothing's going to change with the Kings. And that's sad. That's a sad reality to live in. But again, until Vivek gets forced his way out, I don't know, bro. Somebody cut Vivek off in traffic or something and see if you can get him on camera using a slur. You need to get him out somehow. All right, bait him into doing something terrible somehow. I don't know, dude. Blame him for an M word. You got to get Vivek out. He is just a piss poor owner. And overall, this is how bad teams stay bad. And Kings fans, the beam was lit for a little while, but the beam is very dim now. And I feel bad for that. But stay strong, Kings fans. But as long as Vivek is there, I really don't see anything coming of this. Spurs, depth pieces. Wemby just needs a little bit more help, maybe. You know, HB is cool. You know, they got a bunch of cool depth pieces, but, you know, at the end of the day, they could always use more help. And he could always use, like, a co-star, kind of, but that's not, I wouldn't rush it. Honest to God, I wouldn't rush it. I wouldn't do a Zach LaVine deal. Wouldn't trade for, like, Vooch. I don't think they're doing that. With Cam Johnson, maybe, you know. But I think altogether, Stephon Castle is developing into his own player, and I really love what he's developing into. Whether he's the second star or not, I don't know. But as for right now, man, they're looking pretty good. And Chris Paul, let me give his flowers real quick. He might be one of the best floor raisers in basketball. He just is. Toronto, you're selling. It's pretty straightforward. Does anybody want a Bruce Brown and Jakob Poeltl package? Lord knows I would. If I'm a Celtics fan. I've said that before. But if the Raptors offered the Celtics Jakob Poeltl and Bruce Brown, hell yes, I want them both. Bruce Brown is basically taking a year off of basketball, but he yammed them off yesterday. Day before, maybe. He had a sick dunk. I'm not buying it. You know, this team's all right. But they're not fun to watch, I'll tell you that much. They're not fun to watch at all. Goodbye. This is another team that just doesn't have a staple. I said it before in a video, and I felt bad and weird saying it, but they don't have a staple. Like, there's no prospect here that I look at and say, that could be my 1A on a championship team. There's not one. Keontae George is aight right now, but I don't think he's taken a step up. You know, Bryce Sensabaugh had a really good game against Philly? Yeah, it was against Philly. Bryce Sensabaugh had a really good game. Probably his best game of the season, and it was 20 points. You know, Lauri Markkanen's the best player on the team. He ain't leading you to a championship. Colin Sexton's there. You know, this team just has a bunch of guys that are like, but what the hell is Danny Ainge cooking? Because he should be getting rid of Colin Sexton. He should be getting rid of Walker Kessler. Should be getting rid of Jordan Clarkson. There's a lot of guys on this team that should be moved. I've created a new tier. The Washington Wizards. They suck. Beyond bad. Beyond unfun to watch. They want to move Valanciunas and Brogdon, and who the hell's taking that risk? I don't know, because Malcolm Brogdon is a glass cannon. When he plays, he's all right, but that's when he plays. And then Jonas Valanciunas is not overpaid, but it's hard to pay a guy like $20 million when this apron shit is in right now. If this second apron and, you know, tax and the luxury tax and all this stuff wasn't as severe as it is right now, Valanciunas would be a real piece to trade for. But for like a backup big, he might start on some teams, but I don't see him as a starting center on a championship team. But I definitely don't see Val as like that guy. And getting paid as much as he is with the new apron and the new CBA and everything like that, it makes it almost like you don't even want to trade for him. It makes mid to like the lower value players less wanted to be moved for. You know, Valanciunas and Brogdon, I wouldn't be surprised if both of them stay there the full season. That would suck. But yeah, it just wouldn't surprise me. Wizards fans, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're much stronger than I am. You watch better basketball than I do because you sit up and you watch the Wizards. So there's some guy in a different country right now who's up at like 5 a.m. every other day to watch the Wizards. Crazy dedication. But if you enjoyed this video, have anything else to say, you know, any disagreements, agreements, blah, 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 like, comment, share, sub. Let me know down in the comments what you do and don't agree with. I would love some engagement from you fellers on this. I'm going to go catch the game. See you guys in the next one.